Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Kenny Layman's here. I know we haven't put out a video in a while, so welcome back to our channel. I hope you guys have still combed through a bunch of our old videos over these past couple of months and still gotten some value. But we are back on the train. We usually try to give ourselves a break towards the end of the year from social media in general and our YouTube channel, just so that we can focus on growing and maintaining our book of business and planning for the new year. So here we are. Again, my name's Kenny Lamans. I'm one of the Medicare Millennials, where we try to help you guys build a large, successful book of business, sell Medicare year round, and hopefully glean a little bit off of what we've done right and what we haven't done right, so you can learn. That's what our channel's for. And I'm here with Ethan. What's going on, Ethan?
Hey, Kenny. Glad to be here, man. Happy 2023, everybody. We hope everybody that's in the business currently had a successful AEP. We'd love to hear about it. Love to hear how you crushed your goals, what worked and what didn't work. We've got some exciting things in 2023 ready for you. We hope that, like Kenny had mentioned, you've really dove down into our videos and have learned a lot of good things. Like you mentioned, the things that worked, and of course, the things that didn't work for us. And hopefully you guys have learned through that. So again, 2023 is going to be exciting. We're going to bring a ton of value to you throughout the year. So continue watching and continue giving us feedback along the way.
So the purpose of this video is just really a couple of things. Number one, which we'll get to shortly, we're kind of changing directions on how we interact with our audience, with you guys, and what our goals are going to be as far as being able to help other agents. So we'll discuss that in detail. We're going to start out here just recapping 2023. And we will also talk about what our plans are. I'm sorry, recapping 2022 and talk about what our plans are from a Medicare perspective going forward for 2023. But Ethan, what do you say we give just a brief rundown of what our channel is going to look like first, just in case anybody doesn't have time right now to stick along for the whole video, they at least get this message.
Yeah, that sounds great. Let's kind
We
of
don't
hop
we
right
can
into that.
talk more in detail about it a little later in the video.
Yeah.
Um, but basically, and I'll let Ethan kind of explain this a little better, but I would say our goal for this year, where we believe we can provide the most value to newer agents or longtime agents for that matter, is to focus on putting out good content and providing consultative services and resources to agents. Okay. What is missing out of that equation from what we've been more adamant about before is actually encouraging agents to necessarily work under the same FMO or the same umbrella that we did. Okay. So we're going to be far more hands off when it comes to that. We will still be glad to coach and consult and help you make the best decision on an FMO, whether that be the one that we use or a plethora of other great uplines that are available out there to sell Medicare. We'll still help out with that. But what you won't see us doing is making any targeted effort to recruit agents directly underneath us. And I think that's a business and a personal decision, because where Ethan and I's strength lie is not with onboarding agents. It's not with holding hands. It's with really just sharing what works best for us, and also having one-on-one conversations with agents to train in a particular area, or to be honest with them and just tell them what's great about this business, what sucks about it. So we're going to focus on that. That's what this channel is going to be about. We are going to provide free content, and we're going to provide avenues and options for you guys in every video. It'll be in the description below to make use of us on a consultative level. So would you say that's in a
Absolutely.
nutshell?
In a nutshell, that's perfect, guys. What we got pretty bogged down, which was a blessing, right? Because you guys are watching us, you're interacting with us. That's everything that we want. But we got a little bogged down, focusing in not necessarily in the wrong things, but we weren't really using our strengths. And our strengths are to provide you content and to provide you value. That way, again, you don't make the same mistakes that we have made, and we can really create a highway for more agents on the path to success. So, Kenny, I think you nailed it right on the head. We want to make sure that we're helping everybody out, and we can do it in a more intimate setting, but a little bit faster. That way we can help more people out this year. So I think you hit the nail on the head there. It sounded great.
And I would never say, because you and I don't own our own FMO, we partner
Nope.
with an FMO. I think would never say that our goal with this channel has ever been really to recruit agents, especially not directly under us. But last year we just put a more focus on, hey, if you got to pick an FMO, we might as well help connect you with ours, which to a degree we may still do. That's just not going to be the focus. We're really
Yeah.
focused on the content we put out for free. And if you're like, okay, this is right up my alley, I want to know more, I need the nitty gritty, we're going to provide opportunities for you to get one-on-one with us in a Zoom call or a phone call, and for us to walk you through some of those tough areas.
We're
So
super excited for that. I mean, we've got relationships with a lot of people here in the industry. We understand that, like, we as well as everybody is not a one size fits all. So, if there's something that you need a little bit more help with, a little bit more hand holding with, we're going to be able to help you a little bit more, guide you in which direction you can go, knowing that it may not be with us. So awesome,
yeah,
Kenny. Well, let's
cool,
recap 2022. What do you say? I
cool. What
think
about you?
I think personally, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think although our numbers haven't been as staggering as they have been in the past, and I know a lot of agents get focused on that, I think our quality of business has drastically improved, and therefore our quality of life has improved, in my opinion.
Yes.
We're not writing the bad business anymore. We're not necessarily going for writing as many applications as we possibly can. And guys, when we've talked about that in the past, that provided value, right? There was a lesson in doing that. Okay. It taught us that not all business is good business. It taught us that not all clients are good clients. There was a lot of lessons learned in there. And throughout all the weeds that we went through to get to where we're currently at, it allowed us to learn and to understand and to value what we do have, and to really appreciate it, and to also be able to focus on what actually works for us. So, Kenny, I'll let you kind of go into some of the numbers if you want to talk about that and what you did to really bring what you brought to the table this last year.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I want to use an illustration for new agents out there. Like, imagine that you were a contractor and you did like big projects. Maybe you helped homeowners build pools or something. I don't know. Like, if you were a pool builder and a contractor and you went and visited with somebody, that takes, and what you do takes a lot of time, expertise, and money. And they were just kicking the tires and they told you, yeah, I'm interested, I'll give you $1,000 up front, but if I don't really like the way you're doing it, I'm not going to let you finish the job. I'm going to go use somebody else. It just depends what I like about you, right? Like, you wouldn't even consider taking that project on because you're investing so much into building that pool for somebody that if they can't give you some level of commitment up front and establish a relationship, you're just not going to do it. The same is true for you as an insurance agent, specifically Medicare. And that's what Ethan and I learned the hard way, is that I can choose not to do business with somebody who doesn't appreciate what I bring to the table, who isn't willing to do their best to commit to a long-term relationship. And that really is the turning point of your business. Now, what Ethan also said, though, is important. It's like, you're not an expert if you just got licensed a month ago. And you probably don't have much room to be too picky right away. And really, the best thing you can do is get in front of as many potential clients as possible and have a ton of batting practice and really just learn about the plans, what, sure, there's some things that your FMO or resources like us can help you avoid, but some things just have to be learned in action, in practice. So I don't want you to get too far ahead of yourself. Your goal day one is to have a steady lead source that gets you in front of people. But as you go, I want you to prepare your mind that as you get better, as your marketing gets better, and as your renewal income is higher, you can become more and more picky and you can become smarter about the way that you do business, in my opinion. And that's
Love
what
that.
we focused on last year. So because of that, I sold, I think, because what I count a calendar year is actually, I don't count last year's AEP.
Right.
So for 20, it's kind of weird, but I say everything I sold from January 1st through December 31st, that's kind of what I count my calendar year as, even though everything you sell during AEP has an effective date of January 1, kind of count that as last year, just the way I do it. So I think I landed right around 250 Medicare policies. Of course, that's not counting life insurance and hospital indemnity plans and all of that stuff, which really is great, but it's not great. It's just like good. I'm sure any of you new agents out there going, dude, if I can even get to 150 a year, I would be pumped for sure.
In which in videos in the past, we've talked about doing 4 or 5, 600 in a year.
600 a year. That's kind of what my reference point is here.
Yeah.
So last year did less, kept dramatically more in 2021 than I did in 2020, and dramatically more year over year in 2022. So my retention at this point is over 90% year over year.
Huge.
So at my very first year, mine wasn't as bad as Ethan's, but the very first calendar year that I wrote business for Medicare Advantage, okay, my retention was like 65%, 70 maybe. Ethan, 1 year is closer to 50.
I just told a guy right before I got on here that it was 50%. I wrote all these policies that year. Come January, I was like, babe, we got it made. We're never gonna have to work again. And I looked at that renewals and I was like, whoa, we got something to talk about, right? So yeah. So it was a learning year.
So here are the things specifically I did to make that happen. Some of these things I've talked about, others are relatively new. First and foremost, constant touches to first and foremost, when I meet a client, there's a different level of conversation there. You know, I walk in with a confidence. I make it abundantly clear that my desire is to long-term be their Medicare broker. Like, I want to make sure today when I leave and every year going forward that you're ever on Medicare, that you can trust to come to me for me to roll with the punches with you and make sure you're on the best plan possible, right? So I get like, no, I don't literally, hey, sign here, nothing like that, right? But there is an unspoken commitment that I need to have there with that individual for me to take them on as a client, number one. Okay. Number two, I just am so much more intimately familiar with the plans in this area and the doctors that do and don't take them, what sucks and what doesn't about different plans, that I just sell a lot less random plans. Just because a new company, Medicare Advantage company, offers a new plan in your area that has one abundant benefit, like a big dental benefit, don't think that you have to be pushing that product. It's a mistake most times, because it takes, guess what Medicare Advantage is? It's managed care. Therefore, they have to establish a network of doctors and providers that are under that management for your care to be managed. That takes time, reputation, staying power. And I learned that a lot of the new companies and the new flashy thing didn't have that. So you can go sell all those plans you want, and you can get a pat on the back from your FMO, and you can go get on somebody's YouTube channel and tell them you sold 600 plans in a year. But if that didn't include a high level of commitment with each client and an intimate knowledge of the plans where you made sure you were selling the top line available plans for those customers, then it's not going to last. You're putting in too much work for what sticks on the books. So that was a big one for me. And then the other thing I'll say, and I'll let you pick up from there, Ethan, is local networking. There was a time in my insurance career where I thought I wanted to be a telesales agent, because you can sell to anybody in the country. Supposedly there's a lot of caveats there, but the further along I went in this business, I was like, why? Like, I have more than enough boomers turning 65 right around me. I can differentiate myself, and I can have a much easier time retaining that business, getting referrals. Like, why don't I focus there? And that's what I do. And so it started out with just my leads being local. Now I work very little direct. Well, I still work direct mail every single month, but it's a little bit different. They're less generic and more specific to me, but that only happened over time. That's for another video. But I do a lot of local events. I'm a part of the chamber. I not only do I sponsor things at like the YMCA, the two senior centers in my area, etc., but I also volunteer in those places. Now, I've been driving for Meals on Wheels. I don't solicit business when I drop their meal off at all. But for one, I enjoy serving the senior market. And for two, it's just about establishing a name and credibility within the community. Because that's for long-term dividends, right? Like that pays off long-term. So I've spent the last year and a half establishing myself in the community as an expert and somebody that's here for the long term and that's trusted. And that is beginning to pay massive dividends. For example, the free Medicare educational course I'm going to do this year, I don't even have to buy or rent a space to do it. I have such a good relationship with my Chamber of Commerce that I get to use their chamber boardroom or whatever they call it for free. I will still have to market it to a degree, but they're also going to push it out on their email blast, like free educational Medicare course. Those are examples of things that don't happen overnight. They don't pay bills day one, but over time, as you build your foundation, spending time in the community in the right places is huge. And that's what I spend a lot of time doing. There's more, but good grief, talk all day.
Well, for the folks that have been following us for years, it's exciting for me to listen to you, Kenny, and I'm sure it's exciting for them as well to hear kind of where we started, how we built that book, and really how we were able to build that from day one all the way until today. And guys, I think the biggest thing to take away from that before I share mine is this is like year 3 or 4 for us now at this point. And we had to buy the direct mail leads. We had to go knock on doors. We had to go in the rain and the snow and all that stuff. Like we had to go do all of those things in order to get to be able to go to Chambers of Commerce's and Meals on Wheels and kind of do all those little things that are now fun, right? I know you enjoy that. You tell me every Tuesday when you're delivering meals how much fun you're having. So I just want to make sure that people understand that, guys, we had to do all those things in order to get to that. So Kenny's done an excellent job with the local market. Me being on the road nearly 24/7, I don't necessarily get that option to do that, or it really isn't possible or feasible just because I'm never anywhere local for very long. And so he's really mastered that. And for anybody that has a book of business, you can kind of mimic what he's been doing and plant those seeds because they do produce. And it's such a long-term dividend, but such a large dividend that you can't even really calculate. For me, I have really, since I lost all those clients, that was the pivotal moment for me in my brain to say, okay, I did something right. At first I was mad at my clients, but then I realized it was me that did something wrong. And hearing what Kenny said, it wasn't because they knew who I was or what exactly I was there to do or how I could continue to provide value to them throughout the years, right? Not just this one time, not just this year, but forever. And so I took some time to really think about what I can do. And my biggest lesson for 2022 and what I implemented was what I call the R&R, is retention and referrals. Retention was huge for me because 2021, I had to build that book back up, right? But I lost a lot of those clients that weren't good. But a lot of the good clients that I did take my time with explaining who I was and what I could do for them, they stuck around. And what I learned in 2022 is that book of business, those people there are worth a lot of money. And no, I don't mean going and cross-selling them life insurance. They know people, right? Mm-hmm. And what do older people do?
Their sister turns 65
That's
next
right.
year. Their wife is finally retiring next year. The guys that they play pool with at the senior center, that they drink coffee with at 7-Eleven, right?
Yep. And what do they talk about? Surprisingly, Medicare. And it may not be a good experience, right? They may be complaining about something, blah, blah, blah is wrong. Well, guess what? Ethan here, I was running into the same situation. Ethan here, my insurance agent, my Medicare man, helped me through that and got my prescriptions lower or whatever. And so last year, I did not purchase a single lead. and I wrote about 185 plans, all referrals. All right. And then after we got our final numbers from AEP just a week ago or so, not including any sort of deaths or moving out of the states or anything like that, I lost less than 3%. That's a significant difference than 50%, right? And so I, again, wasn't able to do the local marketing approach, but I grabbed onto my clients and I did quarterly calls. I did quarterly postcards. I did handwritten birthday cards. People laugh at me on our Instagram page when I show them that I'm writing out a card, a birthday card for them. And why do I not automate that? That takes so much time. Well, it's in my handwriting. It's coming from my address. And on every single card, I put a business card in there with a magnet on there. And I put on that letter, I say, John, happy birthday. Hope this is your best year yet. And I just wanted to let you know I've included a card here. If you already have one or two of those, give those to somebody that you know and love that need my help as well. And that little thing right there, in fact, I just told Kenny, like, implement that this year right now, because that little thing right there has led to all those referrals and has led to my retention rate dropping dramatically.
Yeah,
And so that's exactly what I'm going to do for 2023. I don't know if we want to kind of just segue right into that. The only thing I really wanted to include was I wanted to get a little bit better at streamlining. Kenny, do you want to run into that, or we want to kind of dissect 2022 a little bit more?
Streamlining what?
How I communicate with my clients when they call me. Because guys, when you build a book of business, you're going to get a lot of phone calls.
Yeah. So as your book of business grows, especially early on when you're taking every Tom, Dick, and Harry, and you'll take anybody as your client, right? You're going to have, everybody has a problem every now and then. And then a handful of your clients are just kind of your trouble clients, are always calling you about something. And I believe what Ethan's talking about is making sure that you communicate very clearly from the get-go what you do and do not do, so that service work can be manageable. And Ethan, I think you heard from one of our mentors recently. What does he say to his clients?
Yeah, guys, again, 8 years in the business in April, and we still have mentors, right? We still learn things along the way. Now, it may not be like eureka, right? When we learned how to scale, Kenny, like we're like, okay, got it, move, and that changed our lives completely. But it just has to be a little gold nugget. And I personally
can pause
get
for a second, Ethan.
Okay.
You froze. Let's see if I get you back. Okay, you're back.
Am I back?
Yeah.
I was going a little weird. All right. So I was just saying we also have mentors that we listen to. And even if we could just gather a little gold nugget, that could change our business for the year. And so I personally get bogged down with over promising what I will do for this client. I still do it. I say every year I'm going to do better, and I still fall into that trap. So what I have personally, my biggest goal for this year is I want to paint a very clear picture, like Kenny said, to my clients on what I am very good at helping them with and what I'm not good at. Because what is not good is ignoring somebody for 4 days or telling somebody you're going to do it and then you don't do it for 2 weeks, right? I struggle with that. So here's my struggle. My biggest struggle is, how do I continue to provide value to my client without necessarily telling them every time they call the customer service line with your insurance company, right? How do I continue to show them that I am valuable? I'm here to help them when they need me, but also be able to like give that busy work away. And our mentor yesterday, I was listening to a video that he put, he said it best. He said, all right, you get a phone call, right? And it's hard to do when you've had these clients for 2, 3, 4 years, but you got to do it. Is when somebody calls you and they say, hey, I lost my member card. I need to switch doctors. Can you find me a dentist? Any of that busy work. Like, guys, I'm on the road all the time. I can't stop. Look at my iPad, get all that information, shoot them a text, give them a call. It's just unrealistic. So what he said was, he says, John, hey, I appreciate you giving me a call. And, I'm more than happy to help you out with that. But here's what's going on. I am really, really at ensuring that you have the correct plan for this year. Because remember, I work with everybody. We look at doctors, your prescription drugs, and basically your goals. And I'm able to find a really, really good plan for you for this year. Can we agree on that? Yeah. Now, you will have things happen throughout the year, like needing a new doctor, needing a dentist, your doctor moves, whatever it may be, right? And I am not very good at that because I'm constantly on the road helping others pick a very good plan for 2023. So the good news is you actually have, there's an entire dedicated team to help you out with that problem. If you will flip that card around, your insurance card around, you will see a member number on the back of it. If you will call them, give them your member number and let them know your problem, they've got an entire team to help you and they can get it done like that. Otherwise, it's going to take me 2 to 3 weeks. So can you take care of that, John? And then do you mind shooting me a text message when you're done saying you got her done? And guys, I've already implemented that for January and my busy work has gone down, which means I can clear this headspace and I can help other people out picking plans. So use that.
I would like to, that's excellent. And I want to make use of that too. One thing that I've done, and really, I don't even know that I did this. I don't think I did it. I didn't calculate this and then start doing it. I think I just started doing it over time. But when clients call me, I always act like I'm really busy. Like, oh, hey, Tom, what's up, man? I'm on the road here. What's going on? Right. And then I let them talk. And it's usually something like this, like, oh, I'm kind of panicking here, Kenny. You know, my
got a denial letter.
Or this medicine used to be $10, now it's $20, or my doctor isn't going to be, he's moving out of town, I got to get a new specialist, whatever it is, right? Like, you know how these seniors panic, so they're like, so what I always say is, hey, I always tell them, like, hey, totally understand, I know that can freak you out. Here's the good news: United Healthcare is a really big company. We're going to have an alternative. We're going to be able to find you another doctor. Okay. However, at this moment, I'm on the road. So there's 2 ways we can do this. One, let's say today, what is today? Wednesday? Today's Wednesday. I'll say, okay, today's Wednesday. I'm going to be on the road for a while. You can call me back Friday and we can call in together and get this done. Or I know, really honestly, it's important that you get this taken care of right now. There's a whole department that handles this. If you just call this number that I can text you as soon as we hang up, they'll be able to get it done for you within the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, and get you a new car on the way today.
I really will help them if they call me back in 2 days and haven't done it. But 90% of people are like, oh, okay, yeah, I need that. You know, like,
because they're not going to remember Friday.
I tell them exactly what to do right then.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, hey, here is the number that will, or if they're computer savvy, I say, here is the website where you can look at the catalog for what's available on your over-the-counter benefit. Whatever it is, say it would be a lot easier if you go ahead and do that now, or you can call me back in 6 years. No, I'm just kidding, not 6 years. You know, call me back in a couple of days. I'll be in my office all day Friday. Because really, if I'm like out and about, I don't do that stuff anymore on the road. Right. Unless it's a true emergency, right? Like,
right, which most
I cannot park my car here. I don't even have the service to do what you need. I'll be in front of my computer again on this day. Or let's not wait around on it. Here's how you do it yourself.
And the thing to remember, guys, is like, you're still providing value with that, right? Like, you're still showing that you're important to the client, that you would love to help, but you're busy and you know that's important to them and you want that taken care of like they do as well.
You know what they say every time too?
What's that? What is
so when I say that, they're like, that's why I have you. That's why I called you. You'd know
you're
what
the man.
Do. They really just wanted like confirmation of and be told what to do. That's really all they want.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's exciting. So that's that retention, referrals, and then being able to just confidently say what Kenny said and what our mentor has said. Moving forward, guys, you don't have to bend over backwards. I have several people on Instagram reach out weekly saying, I'm so bogged down with busy work. And I'm like, same, dude. And it's like ridiculous that we are, because we don't have to do that. United Healthcare or Humana or whoever their insurance company is has an entire team dedicated to help them out. So make sure we're utilizing that. And I think that's what I'm going to do. That's one of my biggest goals for 2023.
Well, I didn't want this video to be too long, so why don't we each just give 2 or 3 things that we're going to focus on this year or double down on, and then we're going to start making regular 1 or 2 or 3 videos a week again. So we'll dive into a lot of this stuff. And like we always do, we like to make 5 to 10 minute videos that are about one thing so that you're not here all day.
Absolutely.
So for this year, I've already been mailing out personalized T65 postcards. Been doing that for a year now, gotten better and better at it. it's not perfect, but there's a lot of little things I've learned from other people, things that I learned didn't work. It's gotten better and better and better. So my goal on that this year is I'm adding one thing to it, which is a QR code for my more tech savvy people turning 65 that links them to a quick little YouTube video from me. And I am expanding the data that I mail it to. So I was very targeted before. I'm going to expand that a little bit so that I can get more people turning 65 because it's working. So I want to double down on that. I'll make some more videos about how I market to T65s and how I set myself apart from everybody else. You're not going to get all of them, or good Lord, I would already be fully retired, right? But I've found a good way to get more than enough on the return on my investment. I am going to double down on the relationships I've already made in my local area. It took time to know what events were worth me going to, what organizations were both fun on a personal level and actually contributed to me getting business from it, what things did both, right? And I found several of those things, and I'm not going to take my foot off the gas. I'm going to remain involved in the chamber. I'm going to continue to call bingo, volunteer, and sponsor events. For me, for whatever reason where I live, the YMCA here is loaded with seniors. And we have 2 senior centers that are just they're popping, so to speak. There's always something
Good old
going on
silver
there.
sneakers.
As well as a couple other things that I do around town. So I'm going to double down on that. And then I am going to add one little component to my R&R, retention and referrals, which is sending out the personalized birthday card. I don't care, Ethan, if somebody tells me, oh, they can automate that, but that's not the reason people use me. Is those little touches. It doesn't take long. It's easy. I love it. I already send out postcards to them with always a different picture of me and my family with either some type of value or just a reminder that I'm their agent. But I love the birthday thing and sending the card saying, hey, you probably already have one of these. Share it with somebody else. I love that. So I'm going to add that. I've got some other things, but I'm going to save those. We got a lot of content we're going to put out this year. What do you got for
Yeah. So I think really my biggest goal for this year is staying consistent with all the things that I did in 2022. It worked. Why change it? So I'm going to be asking for referrals. I'm going to be doing birthday cards. I'm doing quarterly postcards. I'm doing phone calls. I answer the phone, guys. That's one of the biggest things you have to do is just answer the phone. So I'm going to continue doing that. I have, here's an example real fast. I'll make it quick. Is my mother-in-law has said this probably 7 times to me, and it didn't click until last year. But she was like, yeah, we used to have this guy that would come by the house from my mom. It was his insurance man. And then it was my insurance man. And then it was my aunt's insurance man. And then my sister's insurance man. And she said that so many times. And I was like, that just really doesn't exist anymore, right? An insurance man or woman, of course, that's like generations deep. And I was like, that just doesn't exist anymore. But after this last year, I've got entire families, right? Brothers, sisters, cousins, aunts, uncles. And so my biggest goal is to be the family insurance man, right? And one way that I'm going to do that is I'm actually have added or included ACA, Obamacare, under 65 insurance, whatever you want to call it. I've actually added that to really start capturing now the kiddos, because I just kept getting phone call after phone call. Hey, can you help my son? Can you help my grandson? He's, 22 years old, doesn't have insurance. I just kept getting those phone calls. So between my mother-in-law saying that and all these phone calls about, people that I couldn't help, I've realized that I really needed to implement that. So this year I'm added that as well. And that's really the 2-3 things that I will be implementing for 2023.
Awesome, man. Hey, dude, I'm glad to start putting out content with you again for this year, Ethan. I'm excited for it. It's going to be a big year. Everybody watching, I hope whether it's your first year or your 15th, I hope that we can help in some small way for it to be a great year for you to build your book of business and carve out your niche and be successful in this industry. In the description below, you can still find us on MedicareMillennials.com, but more importantly, there'll be a link to our stand store, which will outline just some of the core things that we're going to offer to you guys this year. And that's a way to get in touch with us personally, or just to skip the line and get some of the resources that we use in homes and scripts and things like that. It'll all be in our Standstorm. We'll tell you all more about that later. Ethan, thanks for hopping on with me, man. I'll get this all video ready to drop, and let's get excited for 2023.
All right. Well, thank you guys. For those who made it this far, be on the lookout. We're providing, like I mentioned earlier, a lot of content and value for you for 2023. Happy selling. We'll see you, Kenny.